Mortal Kombat, just like with every other fighting game in existence, has a ton of characters.
And just like the others, there are a ton of cut and unrealized characters in the Mortal Kombat series. Today we are going to explore some of those characters, who they were, and what happened to them.
Without a doubt, Mortal Kombat Deadly Alliance had some of the most cut characters out of the entire series, and possibly the strangest one was Zebron. Besides sounding like a zebra version of LeBron James, Zebron was a concept for a fighter in Deadly Alliance. Zebron was a tall, anthropomorphic zebra dressed in a tuxedo, planned for Deadly Alliance but was scrapped before the final product. He was first revealed, per se, when the creator of Mortal Kombat, Ed Boon, posted a picture/sketch of Zebron onto his website before the release of Mortal Kombat Deadly Alliance to just kind of troll with fans at the time, who got excited over every single small detail that was released. But to add on to that, the developers actually added this image into Deadly Alliance via the game's crypt mode. In the crypt, there's a coffin with the letter Z-E on it that contains a sketch of Zebron. It was also given a little description that says,
"Sketch of Prince Zebron, who led his race of zebramen to freedom as they chanted the call Viva Zebron. It was put on Ed Boon's website 2 years ago and caused quite a stir. This is only a joke. We would never put a zebra guy in the game, right?"
While there was no possible gameplay concepts or weapons, we can assume two things based off of the first sketch. One, he would be on the taller side due to him being pointed out as a tall anthropomorphic zebra. And two, he would most likely attack with that one bow staff type whatever weapon. The sad thing with this character is that if he was an actual character, if you look at the other random and weird characters at the time like Mocap and Meat, MK fans at the time would have probably hated him, like they did with Meat and Mocap. So much they would have bullied the developers of the game Midway into never even considering to bring them back besides like Armageddon, due to how much people hate them. Just funny to imagine though, what he would look like in the modern games. Just like all these realistic, serious characters. And then they're just like a freaking zebra in a suit. But anyways, on to the next fighter. Mortal Kombat Gold was the second and more enhanced updated version of Mortal Kombat 4, containing new stuff like characters, stages, but is also responsible for one of the more mysterious cut characters, Bellock. Bellock is a special case because, unlike the other ones we're covering, well, they actually never got past the sketching phase. Bellock actually had some gameplay to him. He actually had like a 3D model. Bellock was a planned character for the game. It was even shown off to sites like Game Informer, but had never gotten in the game due to time constraints. Start to notice the theme here. Unlike Zebron, Bellock was revealed in a much more chaotic way. Back before the game's release, the developers of the game, Eurocom, had accidentally sent some info and images to game journalists by accident. In fact, one of the websites that found out about Bellock was even because of Eurocom. Informer actually found it out because in the practice mode of the demo that Eurocom gave them, they had Bellock as a selectable character. In the practice mode, of course. Bellock was missing a lot of notable features, like he didn't have any special moves or fatalities. You couldn't even really see what Bellock even looked like because the screen was too small and low quality. But the single biggest part about this entire thing is that there were actually leaked photos of Bellock. In total, there were 6 leaked photos. First 3 show Bellock fighting. One is him doing an uppercut against Noob. The other one is him also performing a throw on Noob. It's also to note that this is a very similar throw to Goro's. The last one is the same as the first one, but the uppercut is like the end of the animation is. The next 2 actually shows alternative costume being an all-black version of him. First image shows him holding Kung Lao in the air, and the second one shows him kicking Sector on the face, who is actually another secret character at the time who wasn't revealed yet. This also showed that he would have some form of a bow staff type weapon. Of course, the last one is the one I've already shown. It's the one. And of course, the last one is the one I've already shown. It was a picture of the practice mode selection screen, showing that Bellock was actually a selectable character in the practice mode. Despite the fact that the developers said that he wasn't coming to the game, fighting game fans practiced their favorite stage of grief, denial, started spreading rumors that he was a secret unlockable character. From what we saw, or at least what we can assume, that he was a secret character who would have played similar to Goro. He has some similar moves, like his throw, as I said earlier, was very similar to Goro's. If you look carefully at his model, he actually shares the same model for his feet as Goro's, but just red. So if they reused assets from Goro, you can kind of safely imagine that he would play somewhat similar to Goro. Like I said earlier, Deadly Alliance is up there for the Mortal Kombat game with the most cut characters of all time. I will cover 3 notable ones that are Tiamat, Baphomet, and Hachiman. I probably just butchered those. For most of these characters, the only image we have of them is a concept art we got for them in the game's script mode. So I must also clarify that we don't know if these characters were gonna be like actual fighters in the game or just like story mode NPCs. First one is the one we know the least about, Hachiman, or however you say it. Literally the only thing we know about him is that he was a scrapped character. We can make a few guesses on who he would be. My personal guess that he would be kind of like a samurai ninja type sword character due to like how long that sword is, and the design kind of gives me that vibe. Although if any of these 3 characters would just be story mode NPCs, it would most likely be this one. Next one is Tiamat. Unlike the last one, we actually know more about him than just the name. He was supposed to be kind of like a lizard type character. We actually know why he was canned. They decided to take his design and give it to Reptile instead. Honestly, I get why they did this. It would take less time and make more sense instead of making a whole and introducing a whole new character. It's basically the same or at least similar to another one. While Tiamat would be cool, they took the right path. The next is Baphomet. This is another character that we don't know when they were dropped in development, but Baphomet would have been like an elder demon type character, most likely like a villain type character. Another character that I wouldn't be surprised if this was just like a random story mode NPC. Alright, so those were 3 original characters that would have been in Deadly Alliance. But as a bonus, there were also some planned other Mortal Kombat characters that were already introduced, that were cut, or were going to be introduced in later games, that were supposed to be in Deadly Alliance. It includes Kai, Dairo, and Shao Kahn, who are all planned for the game.
Next, we have some random and unnamed characters and character ideas that include the unnamed character that was just called Sorceress, who would have used long strands of fabric that float and are used to hit the opponent. Next, we got 2 teacher and student type characters. They are described to be martial artists inspired by Hong Kong movies.
And it was most likely that the teacher idea was reused for Bo Cho. And the last one is E Honda, an evil sumo wrestler type character. Now for these characters, we don't really know if they were like actual like fighters or like just background characters. Judging by the fact that half of them don't even have names, kind of shows that like they're dropped very, very early. Mortal Kombat, just like every other fighting game in history, has plenty of cut characters. These aren't even all of the cut characters in MK, there's a ton more I didn't cover, and there will definitely be a lot more in the future. While we will most likely never see these characters be in Mortal Kombat, it's fun to imagine if they did. I'd probably imagine that a lot of these would be cameos, like especially Zebron and Tiamat and Hachiman would most likely be cameos. So that's the end of the video. If you like my video, you should like and subscribe for more.